The great crystal hall on Nexus Prime buzzed with thousands of different voices. Creatures of every shape and size filled the massive space. Some looked like giant insects with glowing eyes. Others were made of living rock that sparkled in the light. There were beings that floated like clouds of gas, and others that looked like walking trees with silver leaves. This was the Galactic Council. Every known smart species in the galaxy had a seat here. Today, they had come to decide the fate of a new species that had just been discovered. The species called themselves humans, and they lived on a small blue planet around a yellow star. Ambassador Velthar stood at the center of the hall. He was tall and thin, with purple skin and 4 arms. His people, the Hegemony, were one of the oldest races in the galaxy. When he spoke, his voice carried to every corner of the massive room. Fellow beings of the Council, Velthar began, we have studied these humans for many cycles. What we have found disturbs us greatly. A holographic display appeared above the hall. It showed images from Earth, cities full of tall buildings, armies marching across fields, explosions from weapons that could destroy entire cities, ships sailing across oceans filled with soldiers. Look at their history, Velthar continued. They have been at war with each other for thousands of years. They have built weapons that could destroy their own planet. They kill their own kind over small differences. They destroy their environment for profit. The hall grew quiet. Many species nodded their heads or made sounds of agreement in their own languages. A representative from the Crystallites spoke next. Her body was made of living diamond that reflected rainbow colors. We have seen this pattern before, she said in a voice like breaking glass. Violent species spread their chaos wherever they go. If we let humans join the galaxy, they will bring war to peaceful worlds. The swarm delegate was next. It looked like a collection of bugs that moved together as one. When it spoke, the voice came from all the bugs at once. Our analysis shows humans cannot be trusted. They lie. They break agreements. They attack without warning. The galaxy will not be safe with them free. One by one, more species spoke. The tree-like Verdanians, known throughout the galaxy for their peaceful ways, said they feared what humans might do to growing worlds. The energy beings from Etheria, who had lived for millions of years, said humans reminded them of other violent species that had caused great suffering long ago. There is only one solution, Velthar announced. We must act before they spread. Beyond their world, the humans must be enslaved. They can work in our mines and factories where they cannot harm others. This is the only way to keep the galaxy safe. The vote began. Each species had to say yes or no. The Hegemony voted yes. The Crystallites voted yes. The Swarm voted yes. Even the peaceful Verdanians, after much discussion among themselves, voted yes. As the votes were counted, the number kept growing. 100 species voted yes, then 200, then 500. Not a single species voted no. The final count was 847 to 0. Every single species in the galaxy had voted to enslave humanity. Far away on Earth, Admiral Do-Hyun sat in his office at the Global Defense Command. He was a serious man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had spent his whole life preparing Earth's defenses against threats that might come from space. Today, that threat had arrived. The communication came without warning. Alien ships appeared in Earth's sky like shooting stars, but they did not fall. They stopped and hung in the air above every major city on the planet. People of Earth, the message said in perfect human language, by order of the Galactic Council, your species has been judged too dangerous to remain free. You are now classified as slaves. Surrender your weapons and prepare for transport. Any resistance will result in the destruction of your cities. Do-Hyun looked out his window at the alien ships floating above Seoul. They were huge, bigger than any building. Their metal. Surfaces were smooth and covered with lights that pulsed like heartbeats. More ships were landing in fields and parks around the city. "Sir," his assistant called from across the room, "we're getting reports from around the world. The aliens are landing everywhere. Our weapons can't hurt their ships. They have some kind of shield that stops everything we shoot at them." "Captain," Mirai burst into the room. She was young for a ship captain, but she had proven herself in many battles. Her uniform was torn and there was smoke on her clothes. "Admiral," she said, breathing hard, "I just came from the harbor. They destroyed our entire fleet in minutes. Their weapons turn our ships into dust. We can't fight them." Outside, the sounds of the invasion grew louder. Alien soldiers were coming out of the ships. They looked different from each other. Some were tall and thin, others were short and round. Some had too many arms, others had no arms at all. But they all carried weapons that glowed with strange energy. "How many people have they taken?" Do-hyun asked. "Millions," Mirai replied. "They're loading people into their ships like cargo. Families are being separated. Children are crying for their parents. It's happening in every city on Earth." Do-hyun closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, they were filled with determination. "Mirai, how many of our experimental ships are still hidden?" "About 50, sir. They're in the underground hangars that the aliens haven't found yet." "Good. Get every person you can find who knows how to fly them. We're leaving." "Leaving? But sir, what about everyone else?" Do-hyun walked to his desk and picked up a photo of his family. His wife and children had been in the city when the aliens attacked. He did not know if they were alive or dead. "We can't save them now," he said quietly. "But if we stay, we'll just become slaves too. Someone has to escape. Someone has to survive to come back for them." 2 hours later, 50 human ships rose from hidden underground bases. They were small and fast, built with Earth's most advanced technology. The alien ships tried to stop them, but the human ships were too quick and too small to catch. As they flew away from Earth, Do-hyun looked back at his home planet. Alien ships covered the sky like a dark cloud. Cities were burning. Millions of humans were being loaded onto alien ships to be taken away to distant worlds. "This is Admiral Do-hyun to all ships," he said over the radio. "Today, we lost our world. Today our people became slaves, but this is not the end. We will learn, we will grow stronger, and one day we will return. The aliens think they have won, but they have made a mistake. They have left some of us free, and free humans are the most dangerous thing in the galaxy." The small human fleet jumped into hyperspace, disappearing into the darkness between stars. Behind them, Earth grew smaller and smaller until it was just another dot of light. The aliens had won the first battle. But the war was just beginning. 5 years had passed since Earth fell. The galaxy had almost forgotten about humans. They were just another slave species now, working in the deep mines and dangerous factories where other species did not want to go. On the mining world of Kethmore, Jiho wiped sweat from his face as he worked in the hot tunnels deep underground. Before the invasion, he had been an engineer who built space stations. Now he dug rare metals from solid rock with his bare hands. The alien overseers gave the human slaves just enough food and water to keep working, nothing more. But Jiho had not given up. Every day while he worked, he watched the alien machines. He studied how they worked. He learned their language by listening to the guards talk. Slowly, he began to understand their technology. "Jiho," whispered a voice behind him. It was Yuna, a woman who used to work with military communications back on Earth. "I got your message to the humans on Nexus 2. They're ready." Jiho smiled. It had taken him 3 years to figure out how to send secret messages using the mining equipment. The aliens thought he was just a dumb slave who only knew how to dig. They had no idea he had built a communication network that connected human slaves across dozens of worlds. "What about the others?" Jiho asked quietly, pretending to work while they talked. "Tae-hyun's group on the Crystal Farms is ready. So-young's people at the weapons factory have everything prepared. We have humans ready to move on 50 different worlds." Jiho nodded. "Then it's time. Send the signal tonight when the guards change shifts. Far away in the empty space between galaxies, Admiral Do-yun stood on the bridge of his flagship. It looked nothing like the ship that had escaped from Earth 5 years ago. The humans had found old alien wrecks floating in space. They had learned to take them apart and study every piece. Piece by piece, they had rebuilt their ships using alien technology. The engines were faster than anything humans had ever built. The weapons were more powerful than Earth's best missiles. The shields could stop attacks that would have destroyed their old ships. "Admiral," said Captain Mireille, walking up to him. She now commanded her own ship, but she still served under Do-hyun. "We just received Jiho's signal. The slaves are ready to move." Do-hyun looked at the display screen that showed their small fleet. 50 ships had become 200. They had rescued humans from destroyed alien ships. They had found human slaves who had escaped on their own. Each new person brought knowledge of alien technology and information about where other humans were being held. "How many people are we looking at rescuing?" Do-hyun asked. "Over 2 million humans spread across 50 worlds," Mireille replied. "It's the biggest rescue operation in history." "And the aliens?" "They have no idea we're coming. They think we're just a few dozen pirates hiding in empty space. Their intelligence reports say we're not a real threat." Do-hyun smiled grimly. "Good. Let them keep thinking that. Signal all ships. It's time to bring our people home." On Kethmore, Jiho waited until the alien guards went to their sleeping quarters. The mining tunnels were quiet, except for the sound of machines digging deeper into the planet. He and Yuna moved carefully through the shadows toward the main power station. The plan was simple, but dangerous. Jiho had figured out how to overload the mining equipment to create weapons. Yuna knew how to take control of the communication systems. Other human slaves would attack the guard posts and take their equipment. "Remember," Jiho whispered as they reached the power station, "we only need to hold them off for 10 minutes. That's when the rescue ships will arrive." They moved fast. Jiho connected wires he had stolen over many months. The mining lasers that cut through rock could also cut through alien armor. The heavy digging machines could be turned into battering rams. In minutes, the human slaves had weapons. The attack began at the same time on all 50 worlds. On Nexus 2, Tae-hyun led a charge against the Crystal Farm guards. The aliens were caught completely by surprise. They had never expected slaves to fight back. On Gear Prime, So-young and her team took over the weapons factory. They turned the assembly lines that made alien guns toward the guard towers. Within minutes, they were producing weapons designed by humans but built with alien technology. The aliens tried to fight back, but they were not ready. For 5 years, they had treated humans like simple animals. They never imagined that the slaves had been learning, planning, and preparing. On Kethmore, Jiho heard the sound he had been waiting for. Explosions in the sky above the mining tunnels. He looked up through a crack in the ceiling and saw the most beautiful sight of his life. Human ships were dropping out of hyperspace directly above the slave camps. But these were not the ships that had fled Earth 5 years ago. These ships moved like hunting animals. They were sleek and fast, with weapons that glowed with alien energy. The alien guards ran toward their own ships, but it was too late. The human fleet had surrounded the planet. Admiral Do-hyun's voice came over every communication device on the world. "This is Admiral Do-hyun of the Human Liberation Fleet. All humans get to the marked pickup zones. All aliens surrender your weapons, and you will not be harmed. Any attempt to hurt human civilians will result in the complete destruction of your forces." The rescue happened faster than anyone had imagined possible. Human ships landed in every slave camp at the same time. Soldiers in advanced armor jumped out and began helping slaves climb aboard. The aliens were so confused and scared that most of them just stood and watched. Jiho and Yuna ran toward one of the rescue ships. As they climbed aboard, Jiho looked back at the mining tunnels where he had spent 5 years as a slave. He would never forget what the aliens had done to his people. "Sir," said the human soldier, helping them into the ship, "Admiral Do-hyun wants to to speak with you personally. He says you're the one who made all this possible. As their ship flew away from Kethmore, Jiho watched through the window as more rescue ships lifted off carrying thousands of freed slaves. The operation was happening on 50 worlds at the same time, and it was working perfectly. On the flagship, Admiral Do-Yun watched the reports coming in from all the rescue sites. The numbers were better than he had hoped. Over 2 million humans had been rescued. The alien forces had been completely surprised. Only a few hundred humans had been hurt, and most of those wounds were minor. "Admiral," said Captain Mireille, "all fleets are reporting successful extraction. We're ready to jump to hyperspace." "Wait," Do-Yun said. He activated the communication system that would broadcast to every alien world in the area. When he spoke, his voice was calm but filled with promise. "People of the galaxy, this is Admiral Do-Yun. Today, you learned that humans are not the helpless slaves you thought we were. We have taken back over 2 million of our people, and your forces could not stop us. This is just the beginning. Every human in the galaxy will be free, no matter how long it takes or what we have to do to make it happen." He paused, looking at the image of the alien worlds on his screen. "You voted to enslave us because you thought we were too dangerous to be free. You were right about one thing. We are dangerous, but you made a mistake. You left some of us free to become even more dangerous. We are no longer the species you defeated 5 years ago. We have learned from you. We have grown stronger. And now, we are coming for the rest of our people." The human fleet jumped into hyperspace, carrying 2 million freed slaves to safety. Behind them, alien emergency fleets scrambled to respond, but the humans were already gone. On dozens of worlds, alien commanders sent panicked reports to the Galactic Council. The humans had ships that were faster and more advanced than anything in the alien fleets. They had weapons that combined technologies from multiple species. Most frightening of all, they had shown they could coordinate attacks across the entire galaxy at the same time. The slaves had become hunters, and the hunters were just getting started. 3 years after the Great Rescue, strange things began happening in the galaxy. Alien ships started disappearing. At first, it was just a few patrol vessels that failed to report back to their bases. Then entire fleets went missing without sending any distress signals. The first major loss was a hegemony battle group near the Outer Rim. 50 warships with advanced shields and weapons simply vanished. Search teams found only empty space where the fleet should have been. No wreckage, no survivors, no clues about what had happened to them. A month later, a crystallite research station that studied quantum computing stopped answering communication calls. When a rescue team arrived, they found the station empty. All the computers and research data were gone, but there were no signs of a battle. It was as if the scientists had just walked away from their work. The swarm lost an entire colony ship, carrying advanced biological laboratories. The ship was traveling through a well-protected area of space when it disappeared. The swarm sent their fastest scouts to investigate, but they found nothing except a small piece of metal floating in space. The metal was human steel. In the command center of the Galactic Council on Nexus Prime, Ambassador Velthar studied the reports with growing worry. His 4 purple arms moved nervously as he read each new disappearance. "How many ships have we lost now?" he asked his aide. "Over 300 vessels from different species, sir. The attacks started small, but they're getting bigger. Last week, the humans took an entire hegemony shipyard." Velthar's eyes widened. "An entire shipyard? How is that possible? Those facilities have thousands of workers and hundreds of guard ships." "The attack lasted only 12 minutes, sir. Human ships appeared without warning, destroyed all defenses, took everything valuable, and disappeared before reinforcements could arrive. The workers were left alive, but they said the human ships moved unlike anything they had ever seen. Far away, hidden inside a rogue planet that drifted through the darkness between star systems, Admiral Do-Hyun walked through the corridors of humanity's secret base. The base was enormous, carved out of solid rock and metal. Thousands of humans worked in laboratories and factories, building weapons and ships that the galaxy had never seen before. "Admiral," called Dr. Hyun-woo, hurrying to catch up with him. Before the invasion, Hyun-woo had been Earth's leading scientist. Now he led humanity's technology development program. "I have the report you wanted on our latest improvements." They stopped in front of a large window that looked out into a massive construction bay. Inside, human workers and robots were building a new type of ship. It was sleek and black with curves that seemed to flow like water. Along its hull, strange lights pulsed in patterns that hurt to look at directly. "We've successfully combined crystallite energy systems with hegemony shield technology and swarm bio-neural computers," Hyun-woo explained. "This ship can appear anywhere in the galaxy instantly using quantum folding. Its weapons can cut through any known armor, and its computer system can think faster than any alien mind." Do-hyun nodded approvingly. "How many more can we build?" "With the materials we've captured from alien facilities, we can build 200 ships like this one. But Admiral, I have to ask, are we really going to use these against civilian targets?" Do-hyun turned to look at his old friend. "Hyun-woo, do you remember what they did to Earth? They didn't just defeat our military. They enslaved our entire species. They separated families. They worked our people to death in alien mines. They voted unanimously to destroy our freedom." "I remember, sir. But we're not like them. We're better than they are." "You're right," Do-hyun said quietly. "We are better. That's why we only target military and industrial facilities. That's why we leave their workers alive. But don't mistake mercy for weakness. We're going to take everything they need to make war, and we're going to use it against them." In another part of the base, Captain Mirai stood in the tactical planning center with the other fleet commanders. The room was filled with holographic displays showing every known alien world and military base in the galaxy. "The next phase begins tomorrow," she announced to the assembled officers. "We're going to hit them harder than they think is possible. Engineer Nari, what's the status of our new weapon systems?" Nari stepped forward. She had been one of the first humans rescued from the slave camps, and she had become humanity's best weapons designer. "We've perfected the fusion bombs that can destroy entire space stations. The alien shield technology can't stop them because they use the same energy signatures as the aliens' own power systems." Colonel Jinwoo raised his hand. "What about ground operations? My teams are ready to infiltrate alien worlds and gather intelligence." "Your mission is the most important," Mirai replied. "We need to know where they're keeping the remaining human slaves. Every rescue operation depends on your information." The human war machine had become something that terrified the galaxy. Unlike other species that specialized in one type of technology, humans took the best ideas from everyone and combined them in new ways. They built ships that were faster than crystallite vessels, stronger than hegemony cruisers, and smarter than swarm bioships. The first major attack of the new campaign began without warning. A human fleet appeared in the heart of hegemony space, directly above their most important military planet. The planet's defenses were the strongest in the galaxy, with thousands of weapon platforms and shield generators. The battle lasted 8 minutes. Human ships moved through the defensive fire, like ghosts. Their weapons cut through shields that had never been penetrated before. Their small attack craft swarmed over the larger alien vessels like angry insects, destroying engines and weapon systems with surgical precision. When the smoke cleared, the entire hegemony home fleet was destroyed or disabled. The orbital shipyards that had built warships for 1,000 years were burning wrecks, but not a single civilian target had been touched. The humans had proven they could destroy anything they wanted, but they chose their targets carefully. The same day, crystallite mining operations across 3 star systems were attacked simultaneously. Human ships appeared out of quantum folds, destroyed the mining equipment and guard ships, and took all the valuable crystals before disappearing again. The miners were left with enough supplies to survive until rescue ships arrived. On the swarm's breeding worlds, human forces burned. The military biolabs that created new warrior species, but they left the civilian populations unharmed. The message was clear. Humans could reach anywhere in the galaxy, and no alien military force could stop them. Admiral Do-hyun broadcast a message on all frequencies after the attacks. People of the galaxy, you see now what we have become. You scattered us across your worlds as slaves, thinking you had broken our spirit. You were wrong. Every world you sent us to became a school where we learned your weaknesses. Every alien technology you forced us to work with became a weapon we could use against you. The image of Do-hyun appeared on screens across thousands of worlds. His face was older now, marked by years of war, but his eyes burned with determination. This is not revenge, he continued. This is justice. You voted to enslave an entire species based on fear and prejudice. Now you will learn what humans can do when they are truly motivated. We have taken your best technology and made it better. We have studied your tactics and found ways to defeat them. We have become everything you feared we might be. He paused, letting his words sink in across the galaxy. But we are also what you never expected us to be. We fight with honor. We protect the innocent. We show mercy to those who surrender. You have one choice left. Surrender unconditionally and help us free the remaining human slaves, or face the full power of humanity at war. Choose wisely. This offer will not be repeated. The transmission ended, leaving the galaxy in stunned silence. The species that had once voted unanimously to enslave humanity now faced a terrible truth. The humans had become the most powerful military force in the galaxy, and they were just getting started. In command centers across alien space, military leaders studied the reports from the latest attacks. The humans had technology that shouldn't exist. They moved faster than physics should allow. They coordinated attacks across impossible distances with perfect timing. Most frightening of all, they had shown they could strike anywhere, anytime, against any target they chose. The galaxy's greatest civilizations were now at the mercy of the species they had tried to destroy. The hunters had become the hunted. The Galactic War had begun, and it was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. What the Council had expected to be a simple police action to recapture escaped slaves had become a nightmare that threatened every civilized world. The humans fought in ways that broke every rule of civilized warfare. They did not line up their fleets for honorable battle. They did not follow the ancient codes that had governed galactic conflicts for millions of years. Instead, they struck from shadows, hit supply lines, and disappeared before anyone could fight back. Colonel Jinwoo crouched in the tall grass on the alien world of Vex Prime, watching the hegemony supply depot through his advanced scope. His team of 12 humans lay hidden around him, invisible to alien sensors thanks to their stolen cloaking technology, Target confirmed, whispered Sergeant Kyung through the communication device in Jinwoo's ear. 50 supply ships carrying weapons and food to the front lines. Guards look light. Jinwoo smiled grimly. The aliens still thought like civilized beings. They put their supply bases far behind the battle lines, thinking they were safe. They never imagined that humans could travel across the galaxy in hours and strike wherever they wanted. Remember the mission, Jinwoo said to his team. We take the supplies, we free any human slaves we find, and we leave the alien workers alive. We're not monsters like they are. The attack was swift and silent. Jinwoo's team used weapons that fired bolts of energy, stunning the alien guards without killing them. Within 10 minutes, they had captured the entire depot. The alien workers huddled together in fear, expecting to be killed. Instead, Jinwoo walked up to them with his weapon lowered. We're not here to hurt you, he said in their language. We're taking the military supplies, but we'll leave you food and medical equipment. Tell your commanders that humans show mercy even to their enemies. As his team loaded the captured supplies onto their ships, Jinwoo found what he was really looking for. Hidden in the basement of the main building were 30 human slaves, worked nearly to death building weapons for their captors. "You're free now," Jinwoo told them as his medics began treating their injuries. "We're taking you home." One of the freed humans, a woman named Bo Yoon, who had been captured 8 years ago, grabbed Jinwoo's arm. "Are we really winning?" she asked with tears in her eyes. "Are we really going to beat them?" Jinwoo looked at the burning alien ships, outside, and the supplies that would never reach the front lines. "Yes," he said simply. "We're going to beat them all." In space above the crystal world of Nexus 7, Commander Yoonbi watched her target through the bridge window of her ship, the Vengeance. Her vessel was a masterpiece of human engineering, able to change its appearance to look like any alien ship in the galaxy. Today, it looked exactly like a crystallite patrol cruiser. The real crystallite ships in the area had no idea that a human vessel was among them. Yoonbi's mission was one of the most dangerous in the human fleet: false flag operations. "Prepare the special weapon," she ordered her crew. "Make sure the energy signature matches swarm bioweapons exactly." Her target was a convoy of hegemony transport ships. When she attacked them, the weapon residue would make it look like the swarm had done it. The hegemony and the swarm were already suspicious of each other. This attack would push them into open conflict. The attack was perfect. Yoonbi's ship destroyed 3 hegemony transports with bioweapons, then disappeared before the escorts could respond. To any investigation, it would look like the swarm had broken their alliance with the hegemony. "Mission complete," Yoonbi reported to Admiral Do-Yun. "The hegemony will blame the swarm for this attack. Their alliance should start breaking apart within days. This was the human strategy: turn the aliens against each other. For millions of years, the different species had worked together in peace. Now, human deception was making them suspicious and angry. Old grudges were awakening. Ancient rivalries were starting again. On Earth's former moon, which the aliens had turned into a military base, information specialist Wu Jin sat in front of dozens of computer screens. His job was psychological warfare, and he was very good at it. The screens showed alien news networks from across the galaxy. Wu Jin had learned to hack into their communication systems and plant stories that would spread fear and confusion. Today's broadcast would be his masterpiece. The fake news report showed video of human ships destroying an alien civilian transport, but Wu Jin had edited the video carefully. He made it look like the humans were using crystallite weapons, firing from ships that looked like hegemony vessels while following attack patterns that the swarm typically used. "Breaking news," the fake reporter announced. "Human terrorists have attacked the passenger ship Peaceful Journey, killing 3,000 innocent civilians. The humans used stolen technology from multiple species, proving they have formed secret alliances with traitors among us." Within hours, the story was spreading across the galaxy. Aliens began to suspect that some of their own people were helping the humans. Trust between species began to break down. The crystallites accused the hegemony of giving humans their energy weapons. The hegemony accused the swarm of sharing their biotechnology, but the most effective part of Wu Jin's psychological campaign was simpler than any fake news story. He just broadcast the truth about human capabilities. "Citizens of the galaxy," his messages said, "your leaders told you that humans were simple slaves who could never threaten you. They were wrong. Human technology is now more advanced than yours. Human ships are faster and stronger than yours. Human strategy is better than yours. Your military commanders know they cannot win this war, but they are too proud to admit it." These messages hurt the aliens more than any weapon because they were true. Alien citizens began to lose faith in their leaders. Protests started on dozens of worlds. Some species began to quietly seek peace negotiations with the humans. The turning point of the war came when Admiral Myre led the largest human fleet ever assembled toward Nexus Prime, the capital of galactic civilization. 2,000 human ships dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the system, facing the combined fleets of every alien species. The battle was massive and terrible. Alien ships that had ruled the galaxy for millions of years met human vessels that combined the best technology from dozens of species. Energy beams lit up space like fireworks. Explosions bloomed like deadly flowers among the stars. But the outcome was never really in doubt. Human ships moved like schools of fish, coordinating their attacks perfectly. When alien ships fired at where they were, the humans were already somewhere else. When alien fleets tried to surround them, the humans simply jumped through quantum folds to appear behind their enemies. The alien fleets were not just defeated. They were destroyed completely. Millions of years of military tradition and advanced technology were reduced to glowing debris in a matter of hours. As the last alien ships surrendered or fled, Admiral Mirai opened a communication channel that reached every planet in the galaxy. Her image appeared on screens in government buildings, military bases, and civilian homes across thousands of worlds. "People of the galaxy," she said, her voice calm despite the massive battle that had just ended. "We could destroy Nexus Prime. We could enslave your species as you enslaved ours. We could rule through fear and violence as you tried to do to us." She paused, looking directly into the camera. "But we are not you. We are offering you one final chance, complete and unconditional surrender. Help us free every remaining human. Slave in the galaxy. Pay reparations for the crimes committed against our people. Accept human oversight of galactic government to ensure this never happens again." Her expression hardened. "This offer is made once. If you refuse, if you continue to fight, we will show you what total war really means. We will burn every military base in the galaxy. We will destroy every weapon you have ever built. We will reduce your civilizations to ash and start over." The transmission ended, leaving the galaxy in stunned silence. The species that had once voted unanimously to enslave humanity now faced complete defeat. Their fleets were destroyed. Their capitals were defenseless. Their citizens were demanding peace. Admiral Doyen received the first surrender message within an hour. It came from the Verdanians, the peaceful plant-like beings who had reluctantly voted for human enslavement 8 years ago. "We surrender," their message said simply. "We were wrong to support your enslavement. We will help free your people and pay any reparations you demand. Please show us the mercy we did not show you." More surrender messages followed. Species after species broke ranks to save themselves. The unanimous vote that had once condemned humanity crumbled into chaos as each alien civilization abandoned their allies to seek peace with the humans. The galaxy burned, not with fire, but with the collapse of millions of years of alien supremacy. The slaves had become the masters, and the masters were begging for mercy. The surrender came faster than anyone had expected. Within days of the great battle at Nexus Prime, alien species across the galaxy were competing to see who could surrender first. The unanimous vote that had once condemned humanity shattered into a desperate race for survival. Ambassador Velthar stood in the docking bay of the human flagship, surrounded by representatives from hundreds of alien species. His purple skin had turned pale with fear, and his 4 arms shook as he held the surrender documents. Behind him, delegates from the Crystallites, the Swarm, the Verdanians, and dozens of other species waited nervously. They had come under a flag of truce, but they all knew the truth. Humanity could destroy them anytime they wanted. The battle at Nexus Prime had proven that no alien force in the galaxy could stand against human technology and tactics. "Admiral Do-Yun will see you now," said Captain Mirai, gesturing toward the conference room. Her voice was polite, but cold. She remembered what these beings had done to her people, even if she was willing to show them mercy. The conference room was large and circular, with windows that looked out at the human fleet. 2,000 ships floated in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with advanced armor and weapons. Each ship was a masterpiece of engineering that combined the best technology from dozens of species. Admiral Do-hyun entered the room, followed by the leaders of humanity's war effort. Dr. Hyun-woo, the scientist who had created their advanced weapons, Engineer Nari, who had designed their ships, Colonel Jin-woo, who had rescued thousands of human slaves, Commander Yoonbi, whose false flag operations had turned alien species against each other, Fleet Captain Soman, who had coordinated the great escape that started the rebellion. But the alien delegates noticed something else about the human leaders. Despite years of brutal war, despite the horrors they had suffered as slaves, the humans looked calm and controlled. They had not become monsters. They had not let hatred consume them. "Please sit," Admiral Do-hyun said, gesturing to the chairs around the conference table. His voice was tired, but not angry. "I know why you're here." Ambassador Velthar was the first to speak. "Admiral, we have come to formally surrender. The Galactic Council votes unanimously to accept all human demands. We will free every human slave. We will pay any reparations you require. We will accept human authority over galactic government." "Unanimously?" asked Fleet Captain Soman, her voice sharp with irony. "Interesting how quickly unanimous votes can change. 8 years ago, you voted unanimously to enslave us. Today, you vote unanimously to surrender to us." The alien delegates shifted uncomfortably in their seats. They had no answer for that. Dr. Hyun-woo leaned forward. "Why should we trust you? Your species has shown that you will vote for whatever benefits you at the moment. What happens when humans aren't watching? What happens when you think you're strong enough to fight us again?" The crystallite delegate, her diamond body reflecting rainbow colors in the room's light, spoke carefully. "We understand your suspicion. We have learned much about humans during this war. We see now that we judged you wrongly. You have shown mercy to civilian populations. You have honored surrender agreements. You have proven you are better than we thought." "Better than you thought?" repeated Colonel Jin-woo. "Or better than you are?" The uncomfortable silence stretched for long moments. Finally, a new voice spoke up. It was the Verdanian delegate, one of the tree-like beings whose people were known for their peaceful nature. "We were afraid," the Verdanian said, its voice like wind through leaves. "When we first saw humans, we saw your capacity for violence, and we were afraid. We thought you would bring war to our peaceful worlds. We were wrong. You brought war, but only to those who enslaved you. You could have destroyed us all, but you chose to show restraint." Admiral Do-hyun stood and walked to the large window, looking out at his fleet. Each ship represented thousands of human lives lost to alien slavery. Each weapon had been built from technology stolen from the species that had oppressed his people. "Do you know what the hardest part of this war has been?" he asked without turning around. "It wasn't building the ships or learning your technology. It wasn't fighting battles against impossible odds. The hardest part was not becoming like you." He turned back to face the alien delegates. "Every day my people ask me why we didn't just destroy your civilian populations. Every time we rescued human slaves who had been worked nearly to death, someone suggested we should do the same to your people. Every time we found families that had been separated, someone wanted revenge." Fleet Captain Somin nodded. "I spent 5 years as a slave in your crystal mines. I watched humans die from exhaustion and abuse. I saw children separated from their parents. I had every reason to hate all of you." She looked directly at the crystallite delegate. "But hatred makes you stupid. Revenge makes you weak. We didn't want to become the monsters you thought we were. We wanted to prove that humans could be better than that." Engineer Nari activated a holographic display that showed the current state of the galaxy. Red dots marked worlds where human slaves were still being held. Blue dots showed worlds that had already surrendered and were helping with the liberation effort. "Here are our terms," she said simply. Complete demilitarization of all aggressive species. No species may maintain weapons capable of enslaving another. Reparations will be paid over the next 100 years to rebuild Earth and compensate for human suffering. Most importantly, humans will oversee a new galactic government designed to prevent any species from being enslaved again. Ambassador Velthar nodded eagerly. We agree to everything, completely, without reservation. Wait, said Admiral Do Yun, raising his hand. There's one more thing, the most important thing. The alien delegates tensed, expecting some terrible, final demand. You will help us write a new law, Do Yun continued. It will be carved in quantum crystal and broadcast to every world in the galaxy. The law will say, never again shall any species vote to enslave another. This law will be the foundation of the new galactic government. The swarm delegate, speaking through its collection of biomechanical parts, buzzed with confusion. That is all? You do not want us to become your slaves in return? Commander Eunbi smiled for the first time since the meeting began. That's the difference between us and you. We don't want slaves. We want equals. We want a galaxy where every species is free to live and grow without fear. Dr. Hyunwoo stood up and activated another display. This one showed plans for the new galactic government. Humans will provide military oversight to prevent any species from building weapons of conquest. But each species will govern their own worlds. Each species will have a voice in galactic decisions. The goal is peace, not domination. The alien delegates looked at each other in amazement. They had expected to be enslaved or destroyed. Instead, the humans were offering them a chance to be part of something better than the old Galactic Council. Why? Asked the Verdanian delegate. Why show us mercy when we showed you none? Admiral Do Yun sat back down at the table and looked at each alien delegate in turn. Because that's what makes us human. We remember kindness and cruelty equally. We learn from both. And we choose to be better than our worst impulses. He gestured toward the window where the human fleet waited. Those ships out there represent the most powerful military force in galactic history. We built them from your own technology, improved them with human ingenuity, and crewed them with people who have every reason to hate you. But we're not using them to conquer. We're using them to liberate. Fleet Captain Soman added, the boy who watched Earth burn from the bridge of an evacuation ship has become the man who could burn the galaxy. But he chooses not to. That's what you never understood about humans. Our greatest strength isn't our capacity for violence. It's our capacity for choosing something better. The surrender ceremony was broadcast across the galaxy. On every world, alien citizens watched as their leaders formally submitted to human authority. But instead of the harsh occupation they expected, they saw something unprecedented, the victors, showing mercy to the defeated. As the documents were signed, Admiral Do Yun spoke one final time to the assembled delegates. Today ends the age of galactic slavery. Tomorrow begins the age of galactic freedom. Humans will lead this transition not because we conquered you, but because we have proven we can be trusted with power. The species that had unanimously voted to enslave humanity now unanimously accepted human leadership. But this time, the vote was born not from fear or prejudice, but from respect and hope. In the end, mercy proved to be humanity's greatest weapon. The slaves had become the masters, but instead of seeking revenge, they chose to heal the galaxy. The species that had tried to break humanity's spirit discovered that the human spirit, once freed, was strong enough to forgive even the unforgivable. The war was over. The real work of building a better galaxy was just beginning.